Welcome to Year Endless. I am your host, William Ginsberg, joined by my co host, Courtney Chappell. On Year Endless, we delve into musical and personal history by diving into best of lists from print and online publications through the years. Hello, we're back with part 7 of our journey through Blender Magazine's 100 Greatest Indie Rock Albums of All Time. How are you doing today, Courtney?
I'm doing okay. It's raining, so it's perfect time to listen to some of the bands that are coming up today.
Oh, definitely. So we start today with number 39, the band Pavement with their album Crooked Rain from 1994. I'm a big Pavement fan. I've been for a long time, although there's been periods where I don't listen to it quite as much, but I still really like it. Led by Stephen Malkus, the frontman. I would probably consider them the indie rock band. I think they're a bit of indie rock band. So this was their second album. It's more polished than the first one. I think their influence it's not quite as obvious as the first album as to who their influences are. They developed their sound a little bit more. It's less lo-fi. It's more polished for sure. Less lo-fi than their debut album. It still kicks ass.
Yeah.
What's your opinion? Do you like Pavement, or have you just not listened to that much of them?
I've always liked what I heard. As we know, I listened to like 8 bands. I've always wanted to listen to more Pavement because I liked them. But I didn't know there's a lot I didn't know about them. I didn't know it was 5 members. I didn't know that the lead singer was so handsome. I'm learning that right now. I don't know what they look like or anything, but people that I liked would put it on and I'd be like, this is great. The guy, what's his name? Stephen Malkmus plays an SG, it looks like. And that's what I've learned. A Strat, it looks like. Maybe he plays a variety of guitars. Doesn't matter. Looking at pictures.
I've watched any of their videos. I guess I need to do that later today. Pavement's lyrics are always kind of. There are songs that are very clear what they're about. Other ones where it's like, what the hell is he talking about? So it's pretty mysterious, which is like nice to compared to like today. There's some artists I really like, but they are sometimes a little bit too direct. It is nice to have something that's more poetic. For some of the lyrics, I'm not sure what they actually if it means anything, or if it's just because it sounds cool. With this album, they had their most successful single, which is "Cut Your Hair," which I always think whenever someone says "cut your hair," I think of that.
This morning, actually, you might be able to tell. I'm always doing my bang trims.
Yeah, so I mean, this album has also some of their other like best songs, like "Range Life," "Gold Sounds," and "Fillmore Jive." But yeah, "Range Life" insults the Smashing Pumpkins a little bit, and as well as a backhanded compliment to Stone Temple Pilots. It is a band that references being a band, so there's like that '90s kind of irony.
And they're compared to The Fall a lot.
Yeah, so that's particularly their first album. It's more obvious how much they're influenced by The Fall. Personally prefer that album to this one. Some of their best songs are on Crooked Rain, while I overall enjoy Slanted and Enchanted more. He's also involved with another band that I love, or he's from the earlier albums, the Silver Jews.
Oh, yeah.
If they're not on this list, I'm going to be kind of more than a little bit mad, but we'll see. I don't actually, it's been a while since I've read through the whole list to remember whether they are or not. For a band that's like best albums were like 30 plus years ago, they're really hot right now. They blew up on TikTok.
Oh.
With a song actually off of Bray in the Corner, which is their fourth album. So I don't know how it was used by TikTok.
I want to find out because I am a 47-year-older that's on TikTok, not as a creator, of course, but as a lurker. I'm really, really wanting to know.
Yeah, I would like to know. Yeah, while you look that up, I'll continue. But also, there's a new movie out about them. I'm planning to watch it because, spoiler, we are going to be talking more about this band. But I think it's like part fictional, part documentary kind of deal. But it's on like a really random streaming service I've never heard of. I guess get a free trial and watch it. Yeah, so I got into them in college. I listened to a lot in college. I have the vinyl, listened to it there. One thing I was wondering about is if they could have because they had some success, but they never became a huge radio band. They only got to a certain size and didn't like grow more. And I wonder, was it possible for a band that sounded like them? Like, did they reach that as high as they could get? because I finally listened to the album after this one. Wowie zowie. But it's way more anti-commercial. So I don't know if they just realized, okay, we're not getting any bigger, so we might as well just stay at this size. I mean, I don't know for sure. I'm going to read the blurb. Snarky emo boys denounce big hair, Smashing Pumpkins. Wanting to have their cryptic, wise-ass underground cake and eat it too, the band benefited from an under-the-table distribution deal with an evil major label, with predictable losses and gains. The result was a handful of brilliant songs and a mass culture blip. Yeah, that is true. I don't know the details yet. Some of the music industry stuff is like confusing to me. Apparently, there was some sort of deal that Matador, one of the best indie labels, some sort of distribution deal with a major, but I don't know how well that involved.
Yeah, there's like they've had some hiatuses. They've come back. It seems to go up periodically.
Yeah,
Like,
they're touring. I think they last got back together maybe like 10 years ago, only for a couple shows. And I think it might be a bigger tour. I'm not. So one thing that's funny, there's a couple years ago, maybe pre-pandemic, there's like a Pavement cover band in Nashville, and a couple of the members actually played with the cover band.
oh,
And I
yeah.
think they said that they enjoyed playing in that band more than they enjoyed playing while they were in Pavement. I don't know what that says about the interpersonal, like, or the thing within it,
Climate of the
but
band.
yeah. Did you figure it out?
So, well, I have it pulled up here. I also want to say that they listed Echo and the Bunnymen and REM as direct influences. And as we know, I do a podcast exclusively about Echo and the Bunnymen, and I love REM. And I mean, it's so generic in a way, but I'm also glad because they really were created in like, or they came together in '89, like right after Echo and the Bunnymen disbanded. And okay, but let's see what this TikTok thing is about. I just see that it's been attached to like 189,000 posts. And let's see. So anyway, it looks like it's paired with a variety of different videos. It's a pretty upbeat but kind of lo-fi sounding song. It's a feel-good kind of song. So it's paired with videos of people cutting their hair like I did this morning. It's paired with people trying on new pairs of jeans and having intimate friendship moments. And so I don't know if there's a singular video that it's most known for being paired with. But that's the song. Do you know that song? Could you hear it on your end?
I heard a little bit of it. It's like I've listened to Bright in the Corners, but I definitely listened to it less than their first two albums.
It's Harness Your Hopes is the name of the song.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've heard it. This is really random. There was this show. It was like a Canadian teen show that I watched when I was like a teenager, and a couple years ago, I was like, oh, let's see if I can find the episode online somewhere, because I hadn't seen it since that point. And one of the characters, who's more like musically inclined, she mentions being a fan of Pavement, and like mentions a song off of that album. So it's very random. Like I was like, what? I wouldn't expect to be used as in a TV show. But yeah, now that it's new fans, or at least fans of that song out there, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to number 38?
Sure, let's move on.
The next band on this list is The Strokes with their
Strokes.
debut album, Is This It? From 2001, released on RCA, so technically it's not on an indie label. It's indie rock. So The Strokes this was a massive deal.
Massive.
From what I've been told, and from my experience listening to music, I was a little too young. I didn't hear it at the time. It first became big in New York, and then spread to Britain then wrap around worldwide. Yeah, they were the breakthrough band in the garage rock revival.
They were the ones that ushered in. Oh, I mean, blame it on them.
I thank them, but yeah, I also you blame them as well, depending on how you feel about.
I like it. I'm big.
Yeah, you could blame them for the spread of the hipster clothing,
That's
like the
true.
skinny jeans,
That's
um,
right.
I guess Urban Outfitters kind of deal. They, I mean,
Or models, right? Or they did modeling, or was
no,
that like,
the frontman's father owned a modeling agency.
oh, thank you for clearing that up. I had always
Yeah.
heard something about modeling, and I thought
Yeah, I mean,
maybe,
they're a very handsome band.
and I'd always heard, I thought when I heard something about modeling, I thought that maybe they were like hand-picked boy band that were previously models. And so honestly, that really, I didn't take them as seriously.
Mhm.
And then I never knew what the whole modeling connection was, but it left me feeling like, oh, are these just, I don't know, hand-picked
Industry
corporate?
plants, to use
Yeah,
the
exactly.
current terminology. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, they had been friends since they were in elementary or like middle school, and they had been like troublemakers. I think they had drank and done drugs. So one of the other criticisms is that they came from money, and that,
Right.
or like that they were,
They
yeah, that they
dated
had
like
been,
Drew Barrymore. Like they were just very like early in their careers. They were just that they were kind of set up
yeah.
to,
There was a quote from Hall Banks, the lead singer of Interpol, about how there are other bands that were like jealous that were saying things about it, but they eventually they're like, oh no, these like the songs are good. So one of the big things about it is that it was a breath of fresh air musically. That it was not angry and down tuned like new metal, it wasn't rap rock, it was not dour like post grunge, and it was not bright and bubbly like teen pop. Nothing else you could have heard popular at the time. It was not like that. I mean, it reminded people of the like 70s New
yeah,
York, the garage punk. They dressed like a band. I mean, that's the thing of like the reaction against the 90s is that they dressed up. They weren't
yeah.
just wearing a t-shirt and like shorts or something, you know what I mean? Like they actually were dressed to perform. They were all tall. Apparently, like so Julian Casablancas is the front man, the songwriter. Despite who their parents were Albert Hammond Jr. His father was a musician. He
Uh-huh.
was got like "It Never Rains" in California, whatever that song is, a 70s soft rock song. Their parents didn't really have it. They didn't make any connections for them or anything. I mean, they definitely had advantages of having, you know, how much money they actually had. They made it big by working hard and like writing good songs and like
Yep,
songs are good. I
they
mean,
are. And
they
everyone, I mean, it's like undeniable. My kid found them and was like, this is amazing. They're timeless sounding.
some of this information I've done from reading Meet Me in the Bathroom, the oral history of New York 2000s indie, the indie boom. I mean, they got big in the UK, toured worldwide as this album was being released. I don't think I've ever heard of this before, but release dates coincided with when they visited countries. So
Right.
there was a lot more variety when an album actually released. The album cover is different in the US. I don't know if you've ever seen the original album cover. It's a little bit not safe for work.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I can see why they changed it for America. They also the CD copy had to remove the final track of it because of real life events. Because I mean, this album was released in October 2001, just a month after 9/11, and the final song, the original song, was "New York City Cops," which is like "New York City Cops ain't too bright." So
That's right.
that's not a song you can
At
have at
the
that time. That's
time.
super influential. But it had like that sounded like that they were from a previous decade. They're from like the 70s or 80s. Bands like Interpol, who we've already talked about, and the next album on this list. For how influential they are, they never made it as big as commercially
Right.
as they maybe could have. I mean, I don't know how much it is that they didn't follow up their first album as great as they could have, or the fact that they were first. There is a disadvantage of being commercially of being the first. The Suits, they want something that's already sounds like something else. So some of the bands that were influenced by them became like big, like sold more albums they ended up doing.
It looks like they've got Basquiat on the cover of one of their albums. Is that right? Anyway.
They've released several albums since then. I mean, the follow up sounds maybe a little bit too much like their first album.
Right.
Um, Early on, at least, their live performances was really good. Part of them becoming big was that people saw them live and it's like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to read it or?
Oh, read it. Yes. Making pop radio safe for New York hipsters. They had the awesome spoiled rich kid names, the coolest two board pouts, natty tie and denim jacket combos for every day of the week, and oh yes, girls seem to find them attractive. But these less pites, what does that mean?
Lower East Side pretty young things.
Wow. All right. Yeah. Got over their sleek, sugar sharp 70s punk pop topped off with Julian Casablanca's impeccably sloshed croon. My band used to do a cover of Last Night.
Oh yeah, I guess that we can say about Last Night, other than the fact that it's good, is that the riff is Mary Jane's Last Dance. It's like the same riff. It's a Tom Petty. It's a Tom Petty riff.
Yeah, totally.
Thankfully, Tom Petty was cool and was like, "Yeah, I took riffs from previous."
He's a
He's
cool
not
guy.
a. He's a cool guy. Rest in peace, Florida great Tom Petty.
I agree.
The order this is kind of. I don't know if this was trying to, make people mad, but number 37 is another band from that indie boom, which is Yeah Yeah Yeahs with their debut album Fever to Tell, 2003. Carano is one of the coolest musicians of 2000s and onward.
Also from New York City.
When one of the first show, or like their first show, was on openers for the Strokes. They were pretty quickly a really cool, really exciting performances. I mean, Karen would go all out on stage, moving around, kind of like the whirling dervish kind of deal. Between Carano and then the other main member, Karen is a front person who's very much the focus. The guitarist, Nick Zinner. Between Nick Zinner and Carano, they make the big. Yeah. It's a lot of, as far as going towards influences. There's a lot of kind of the earth punk to it, new wave to it.
Yes.
It's harder than new wave though, at least with the first album.
Definitely.
I hadn't thought about it until I was looking up the documentary about a previous entry about no wave that she was interviewed for it, and I was like, oh yeah, there is some of that to it as well. It's not. There's a little bit more of that hard edge to it that isn't necessarily present in new wave.
And it's because of the instrumentation, the use of synthesizers. There was some kind of keyboard they used. I don't know if they talked about it in the book you read, but there's or a sampler. Is it the Mellotron sampler? I don't remember. Yes, it is the Mellotron sampler, which was like a pretty, I think, inexpensive electronic instrument that a lot of bands were kind of using at the time, and they used it really well. And that's, Heads Will Roll used.
Yeah, that's on their third album,
right, which is not the one that is being
we're talking about today. But yeah, no, that's also. I mean, the singles off of that are so good.
Yeah,
where it's even more like electronic. So this is another. It was on Interscope. Like the Strokes, they did get a strong amount of creative freedom that they fought for. That there was an advantage of having labels fighting over you is that you have a better shot of actually having a more fair deal. From what I remember, Nick had previous experience with a band, so he knew how things could go wrong. I need to see if this previous band's any good. They originally Boba Fett Experience and then changed their name to Challenge of the Future. What a college band of Boba Fett Experience, but it's hilarious. Wow. A big part of this album is Maps, which is like their pop song. It's a slow burn song. So I have a very distinct memory of Maps. There's a couple years, it was years after this. At my junior prom, the juniors planners were in charge of the music. So they were able mostly play like hip hop, R&B dance music, but for around the time of the slow dance, she was able to use Maps. So it definitely, but part of what I hear when I hear it is that moment, like the cool song. Oh. Yeah, I'll read the blurb. They pummel you, then sing you to sleep. This album is one raucous garage rock tantrum after another. It frequently sounds as though Carano is wrestling a trash compactor. And then, wham, we get Maps, the power ballad Kelly Clarkson wisely ripped off for Since You've Been Gone, which scored countless hipster mating rituals and airliner-smeared breakups. I can't speak about that part of the song, but I'm sure it sounds like that all could happen. So one final, I guess, like connection between the Yeah Yeah Yeahs and that previous generation of performers. A couple years after, like, Carano had to start slowing down or like not being as close
Right.
because she, like, I think she fell off the monitor.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and she could have broken her neck apparently because, or at least how they said is that like she was drunk enough that like her body was like more limber. So like if she had been sober, she probably would have broken her
She would have
neck.
braced. Wow.
Yeah, and so along with reading the book on I was reading this oral history of punk. Patti Smith actually did break her like a vertebrae, like
Oh,
with her some of her reckless performances. Wow, it's something that's like happened more than once. It's great. It's really wild.
it is.
Is there anything else you want to say about the EAS for now?
No, just that Halloween rolls around. They get played a lot. I guess I said it's Off With Her Head is the one which is not on this album again, but like
Yeah.
it's like a big like my kid loves the song and it's very much just again another kind of timeless band that the kids still love.
Yeah. As with similar to the Strokes, is that Carano's fashion, her onstage fashion was like really influential or really
Top
stood
tier
out.
icon.
And then like I had a friend who designed all this like the looks for her.
Oh, she has a friend that designed the looks. That's cool.
Moving on to number 36 is Elliott Smith with his album Either Or from 1987 on Kill Rock Stars. Um,
Yes.
so I want to defer to you to talk about Elliott Smith first.
Yes. Okay, well is this my favorite album by him? Yeah, I think it is. I think it's my favorite one. Well, it's hard to say, but this is obviously incredible album. He's still living in Portland, I think. It's in 97, right? But
Yes.
I mean, he's incredible. It's very stripped down. I prefer the sort of the lo-fi guitar based Elliott Smith. His guitar innovations, he's just he's brilliant. The songs are really hard to play. Shane tried to learn Angelus and it's very difficult, deceptively so. You can talk about like his early life. A lot of his music is very autobiographical, confessional. And Rose Parade is about a parade that happens in Portland. It's very Portland based. It's very much about the city he lives in. And each song, I mean, every song is incredible that's on this album. I
Yeah.
don't even know exactly what to focus on. Well, yeah, I think this was the one. Wasn't this the one I need to check on this that was in Good Will Hunting?
Yes, actually, according to the blurb, it does mention that.
That's right.
Um,
And I think that was the first time that he was used in a film. Again, Royal Tannenbaums. He won a Grammy, I think. I should have checked on this, but that for Needle in the Hay, Royal Tannenbaums. So this is the first time I think he was used in a movie. Of course, Good Will Hunting being an incredibly well attended film with Robin Williams. So that helped him to kind of break out. He was always very much an indie rocker with these very lo-fi independent labels backing him, but just really reached a large audience. And I love him. And he, of course, passed away under kind of controversial circumstances way too early. I don't remember how old he was, but
Early 30s.
yeah.
I think this is my favorite of his albums. Although I do realize now that I have, after
Yeah.
this, that I have some early albums I need to listen to because I've really listened mostly to this one, Either Or into XO, and I've listened to some Heat Miser, that was his band before his solo career.
Oh,
And
right. I've never.
they're good. I mean, it's definitely different than it's more like directly like the more rocking side of indie rock. From what I remember, it was good as well. I was actually listening to EXO walking in the mall yesterday, which I don't think was the best idea as far as feeling connected to other people.
Totally.
Particularly, I mean, the weather was really bad. I mean, the mall was the busiest I've ever seen it. It was like Christmas shopping season busy. It was crazy. He shows that you can have so much emotion in something so quiet, heartfelt, so emotionally complex.
Yes.
It's all him. That's which is another thing. And so,
Always, yes. It's
yeah,
not a Vince, it's him, and such kind of a lonely figure. Although he had many friends, he had a community. I also love Roman Candle, which is the first album, so I'm always trying to decide which one is my favorite. And just to your point about just like listening to him in the mall and it just coloring your entire experience. Like every 4th of July, we end up listening to him because Independence Day, is like a putting it on. And so I always go through a Elliott Smith little deep dive. And then I always feel really sad. And I'm also kind of sad about summer ending every year because I don't like the cold. And it really does affect my mental health. And this year we skipped it. We skipped our Elliott Smith, and it was happier. But I think it's also kind of maybe it's just being in school my whole life and the summer. But I think it's really compounded by Elliott Smith, and I always get sad in July.
yeah, and I share that kind of as July goes on, like, oh, the summer is coming, and because Either Or was his last independent
Okay.
label, and then EXO was his first on a major. So one of the things about Either Or that attracted me to it is that the title is the name of a philosophical.
Kierkegaard? Is it Kierkegaard?
Yeah, it is Kierkegaard, Soren Kierkegaard.
Not that I've read it.
I've read some of it. I took a winter independent learning class on it. I didn't do well in the class, but to what degree it influenced it, other than the fact that it's a really interesting album title. Current favorite song from this album is actually the penultimate track, 2:45 a.m. I don't know how much of it is just the fact that I sometimes have insomnia, but also have got into situations in the middle of the night. It really hits me in the
One does 2:45 a.m.
yeah,
Yes, totally. I'm
yeah,
usually up at that time.
yeah.
I was for the last
Some
like
people stand in it. Yeah, I mean, people, there's, nothing good happens after 1 a.m. But I don't know if I definitely had some good things and bad things happen after that time, the time
Me
of the
too.
night.
And I'm not like a mom who doesn't drink coffee after 2 p.m. And like, yeah, I'm often up at that time. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, there's definitely something about how the world shifts. The feeling of being awake and being alert while everything else is like, well, most of like people around you are asleep.
Well,
Just
everyone
like
else.
the darkness surrounding.
I love Elliott Smith.
Yeah, but yeah. I guess we should probably move on.
We should probably move on. We could
Um,
linger here forever, but
I mean,
Liz,
continuing with the lo-fi thing, which is I guess kind of been a running part of this episode, with Liz Phair's debut album "Exile in Guyville" from 1993.
yes, I can tell you that this was like not my personal soundtrack, but was just like a soundtrack of high school. It came out when I was what, a freshman or junior or something. And it was very, there were a lot of really great female artists at the time. I hate to be this way, but she was not my favorite of them, but she was the most popular and very much kind of representing, Riot Girl was kind of coming about in the early 90s. Well, I'm not going to get into it yet. How do you feel about Liz Phair?
I really like this album a lot. Well, preparing I also because I hadn't listened to her follow-up albums, so I did listen to her second album after this. I mean, while preparing, and I thought that was also very good. I also knew the trajectory of her career, which is started off like indie popular, didn't break higher than that, and then in the early 2000s, kind of quote unquote sold out.
That's what,
So like,
yeah. Everybody thought
um, well, Why Can't I Breathe was kind of like that was like the single.
yeah.
That was her fifth album. Didn't sell as well. And then she started working more for TV shows, CW TV shows. Then like in 2010, or I think it's 2010, she released this like kind of nuts album called Fun Style that has some like really just like kind of what ridiculous tracks on it. And apparently some of this like started as while in the trenches of producing that music, sort of the stuff like to keep from going completely insane.
Yeah.
This album is named after the Stones album Exile up on Main Street.
That's
And
right.
like it's a response, they're both 18 songs long. It's like in part a response. I mean, it's not a direct like song for song response. I mean, the Rolling Stones are a very masculine band.
Exactly.
You know, it's like a feminist or a feminine response to sexism in music. She was a great songwriter like, of characters inhabiting these songs like those with a strong like point of view, some killer lines.
Yes, truly. I
Like
mean, I have to say that I appreciate it a lot more now than I did. And also,
in 1993.
yeah. And also there was just this obsession with like selling out generation that's not really as relevant now.
Yeah, there's definitely lines that are like, oh wow. On Fucking Run has some.
Yeah, there are some really, my favorite song in that album that still really gets me is it's called Shane. My husband's name is Shane. But Shane, when she just repeats, you got to have fear in your heart just over and over again. It's very arty and poetic and kind of strange. Just repeat that line over and over. And it's just, yeah. And
I
the
will
lyrics,
mention that it is actually on Whipsmart, not on Exxon Guyville.
wait, Shane is not on Exile in Guyville?
No.
It's not. It's on Whip Smart. Oh, well, never mind.
I mean, it doesn't detract from the fact that the quality is just not on this album.
That's right. It's the one with the stars on it, and we're doing the one where she's screaming we're doing Exile in Guyville. See, they kind of run together with me a little.
But yeah, I mean, I love her voice. It's within a narrow range. Like there isn't a lot of variation necessarily in it. So I was looking more into the history. I mean, it began as a self-recorded demo before it caught the attention of like Matador.
Oh,
Um,
right.
Pushed boundaries in the indie world. I mean, that's most a boys' club, really. Paralleled with, as you said earlier, with Riot Girl. So one thing I actually wanted to look up was whether I looked it up about Lilith Fair.
Oh, Lilith Fair. Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
big. We consider that. Me and whatever my few friends were like. That's very much a sellout kind of. Not real. It's
not
all
real
good.
Riot Girl, not real like.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. She did play. She played in 1999, and so I was looking up all the like artists that were on there. It's kind of wild. Look this back
I
up.
need to look that up too.
But yeah, there was 3 years of Lilith Fair. You know, of all like female performers, a lot of great artists. 97 had Fiona Apple,
Oh wow! I didn't know she was in there.
Indigo Girls, Emmylou Harris.
Wow.
On like the second stage, like Juliana Hatfield, Susanna Hoffs.
Jewel.
Yeah,
Suzanne.
she also did. Speaking of people who sold out, or at least Jewel did as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but Tracy Chapman and
So yeah, 98 there was Liz Fair, Erica Badu, which is
oh
cool.
wow.
Sarah McLachlan, Bonnie Raitt,
Oh,
Missy
wow.
Elliott, Queen, Sinead O'Connor, Suzanne Vega,
Hmm.
Lucinda Williams, Nico Case. Oh, I'm a big fan of Nico
Oh
Case.
wow.
I hope we get a chance to talk about her on a future list.
Yeah.
Who is 99, which also had a pre-pop fame Christina Aguilera. So I was like, what, really? I remember finding the CD. I borrowed it from the library. So there's like a time of day I feel like where I most wanted to listen to the album. Speaking on insomnia as well, it's like 7 o'clock after not sleeping is like my preferred time to probably listen to this album. It kind of like I think it's partly her voice.
Yeah, it's
And
kind
like
of like a little bit of Fry, like
yeah,
she just woke up or has been screaming all night or something.
yeah. Here's, I'll read the blurb. An angry one-woman masquerade. Her debut made 2 things clear. 1, she loved to play with made-up, sexually provocative persona. 2, she was a brilliant songwriter, dissecting complicated emotional states and writing twisted hooks. It's actually, as far as these goes for the female artists, it's less sexist than the usual.
Yes, I'm just noticing that. I was like, that actually sounded moderately respectful. That's great.
Number 34 on the list is Super Chunk with their 1993 album On the Mouth. Yes, which I think was their last album on Matador before they released their off their own label, Merge Records.
Oh, right. They were Merge.
They founded Merge. Mac McCon along with Laura Balance. Because when they founded, they were together, but they, even though like after they broke up, they continued the label. I mean, they were really big of the Chapel Hill triangle, like the scene there. And with Merge Records, they've released dozens of great albums, including a upcoming what we talked about today. So Superchunk's a band that has a lot of like albums of like within a kind of similar range. So like I haven't listened to that many of the albums, although I decided today I might as well just listen to them in order because they released 7 albums or something in the 90s. So there's a lot.
It does. They've always intimidated me because there's so many albums. It feels like.
Yeah, I decided to just I'm gonna listen to. I listen to this one. I like to. I decided I'm gonna listen to them in order just because it's probably the best way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think their biggest song is "Slack Motherfucker," which is commentary on the Gen X slacker like one of those things of. I guess is it your generation?
Yeah.
Or maybe like the older part of your generation.
Maybe, but that's
like the slacker.
That's us, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, remember the movie Slacker? That came out when I was like in high school.
I'll read the blurb. A clever punk band with a great head for business. The indiest band of the 90s. They released records on their thriving Merge label and cranked out hyper distortion buzzing pop so loud singer guitarist Mac McCollin practically went horse shouting over the racket. But yeah, I mean, they were definitely influenced by Dinosaur Jr.
Yep. Good connection there.
Because I don't think they ever toured. I'm not 100% on that. Definitely a band that sort of set the sound of indie rock, I would say. Yeah. And with Merge became the best label out there. Still going today. A lot of there are other labels that didn't stand the test of time, but it's one that has. Super Chunk. They're still around today. I mean, they slowed down for a couple years in the 2000s, but I mean, they're still around releasing new albums. So number 33 is a band I only recently, I actually did find listen to.
Okay.
And I'm assuming it's a band you either haven't heard or don't like. I'm not sure on that though.
I got stuff to say about this band, so yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's the Shins with O Inverted World, released in 2001 on Sub Pop.
Yes.
I think they're most famous for being in what's that movie?
Oh, what is that movie?
It's like the big Manic Pixie Dream Girl movies with Zach Braff. He directed it with
Natalie Portman, right?
Yeah, Natalie Portman. You gotta listen to this band. They'll change your life.
They'll change your life.
I had the MP3s of this for probably like a decade, and finally listened to it. Like, oh, I do actually like this.
Garden State.
That's the movie. So I'd like to hear your opinions about this band.
Okay, it's been a journey because I remember Shane came home sometimes in the early 2000s. I love this band. Check out this band. And I became kind of angry. And I remember giving him kind of a lecture like, we don't listen to this music. This is hipster music. This is everything that we hate. We don't like this. Why are you listening to this? I mean, I wasn't this, aggro about it, but I was thinking this is sellout music. This is the music for people who don't care about things and whatever. But then years later, I like it. Also, again, my daughter, who just has this just loves music and has impeccable taste, found it on her own, and it's like her favorite band. She's just given me this incredible appreciation for them now. And now I like them a lot. And I don't know why I was such an a-hole about it. But it did sound kind of too saturated and produced, and I don't know. And it sounded
Very
kind
60s in that way. I mean, very.
of,
They mentioned in here Simon Garfunkel also, like, there's some Beatles in there.
yes, can't
Yeah,
stand them.
that's why I was wondering, because I know you have some negative opinions towards the Beatles. That's why I was like, oh, this is very.
I don't like them. But Elena, again, my kid likes them, so I'm like, okay, all right.
Maybe there'll be a '60s list sometime.
Yeah.
All this time to actually finally listen to it, because I would hear it on satellite on the indie satellite radio channel and just be like, it'd be a kind of I'd change the channel, or
You would
it was
change
exactly sometimes
it.
they changed the channel band for me. So I finally I was like, I
Okay.
think, yeah, in context, I finally, okay, I actually do appreciate this now. I
Okay,
think there's a
good.
few. I was thinking that there's a few. I was trying to think. I was thinking of, what are these bands? Some of the bands that I acclaim that I don't like, and I was like, this is one I used to not go for, but um,
Yeah.
so there are a few more on that list that maybe will come up at some point. Maybe I'll finally get it. I mean, I don't think it changed my life necessarily, but I do think it's
Right.
I
It
do.
changed Shane's life. He was like, this is the best thing ever. Take a listen. And like he was like the Natalie Portman. And I was like, this sucks. We gotta maintain our self-respect, Shane.
Yeah, so it's James Mercer. He's the singer-songwriter of that, and
Yeah.
he was also in another band. And I'm trying. I think he was like with, who's it with? Broken Bells is him and Danger Mouse, the producer. The like,
Oh.
I mean, he did Gnarls Barkley.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was him and CeeLo Green. Yeah. Speaking of the Beatles, he's also the one who did the Gray album, like the mashup between the Beatles White album and Jay-Z's Black album. I think that's
yeah.
the thing that kind of like made him, like, got attention for him.
Wow.
It's okay. I have it. I don't love it. I mean, as far as the mega genre of mashup with Jay Z, my favorite is Radiohead.
Oh my God. I've never heard of that. What are
It's
you
a real, yeah. It was a whole deal in that time period because Jay Z released the Black album and American Gangster a cappella as well. It
dang.
opened it up for artists to make mashups.
That's
Um,
wild. Okay, dude,
but
that's
yeah, if you can find Radiohead online somewhere,
oh yeah, I found it.
you
I'm
should
not
definitely
gonna
listen
do
to
it.
it.
I want it. But
Yeah.
that's something I may not prioritize all these other bands that I'm really interested in, like Pavement Super Channel, but oh, we're listening to this.
To Radiohead, yeah. I mean, it works.
Okay.
I'll read the blurb and then we can move on to a different lo-fi band or
Yes,
artist.
yes.
The Shins, like old Simon Garfunkel records, minus the annoying groupiness. In this worried, gorgeous 2000s update on 60s fireside folk, anxiety poet James Mercer sang shy la la la's and ghostly woo woos in songs with titles like We're Divide and Caring is Creepy, ideal for dates and psychoanalysts' waiting rooms. So moving on to number 32, it is Neutral Milk Hotel with their album In the Airplane Over the Sea, released on Merge in 1998.
From Athens, Georgia, where I am from.
Yeah,
Right.
it was part of that. Yeah, the Athens, was it Elephant Six?
Elephant Six, that's right. They're still
Um,
around here, I think.
it was Apples in Stereo, and I think it's one of them, in like Olivia Tremor Control.
Olivia Tremor
They recently,
Control, who the lead singer of that band just passed away, I think this past year. It was a big
yeah, this was an album that part of it's really good, but also the story of Jeff Mangum, the kind of disappearing from public life, and
yes.
like becoming famous. He couldn't handle it, so he straight up disappeared for a couple years there.
Yes.
Um,
And then kind of reemerged kind of recently. I'm not
well, like 10 years ago.
okay, yeah.
They toured a little bit of 2012, 2014. So I remember it was when I first moved to Asheville. There was some festival that year. They did 2013, 2014, and they performed there. And I really wanted to go, but I couldn't. Yeah, I just moved there, so, and limited opportunities in that year to go to shows.
But a brilliant an album that was pretty life-changing, kind of defined a whole scene, but also there's a lot of indie rock in the world, right? And I mean, and this is number 32 because this album is so singular in its brilliance. And I don't know if you've listened to any other Neutral Milk Hotel albums, but unfortunately, this one is far and away, from what I understand, the best. It's one of those completely defining albums. But it's just, so you find this band and you want to buy all the albums, and there's nothing quite like this one. And the way it was produced, it's very difficult to perform any songs from this album live, from what I understand, even though this is kind of cacophony and you would think it would really go hard live. I think at the time, at least, they had a really hard time pouring it.
Undercurrent of Noise, yeah, I mean, it's some of it was unrepeatable. I did, well prepared for this, listen to On Avery Island, their debut album. Well, I think it was more like, at that point, it was really basically just Jeff Magnum. They only have 2 albums to shout out. There's some like rarities or odds and ends kind of releases. It stood on its own.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's its own world, really. There are a lot of there are bands influenced by them, and some of the ones I really, really do love. But yeah, it's one of a kind.
Yeah.
The lyrics are so brilliant.
So good. Oh, and I think he had like a fever while he wrote it. It was this real anomaly, but and of course it was inspired by Anne Frank. The lyrics, yeah, he wrote, and I forget what illness he had. I think it was just maybe a flu, but he had a really high fever and he like wrote feverishly through the night. And that's the legend, at least. I don't know if that's even true at all, but that's what I was.
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, Hall in 1945, like and a couple other ones that do reference, and like wanting to save Anne Frank. And one of the other things that I was listening to it yesterday is that it's an album that perfectly shifts between songs.
Yes.
The sequencing is perfect.
Yes. My kid, again, also found that one on her own and has been playing it. Loves it. But the songs really affect her emotionally. And when they come on her little mix of all her favorite music, she'll often skip them because it's too sad, she'll say.
That's very fair. Because some of it is, like, I mean, Two-Headed Boy, that's so sad. His voice, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. Screaming, I'm listening to Hear Where You Are. You know, it's just like a knife in the heart.
Yeah. And then also the instrumentation is crazy. There's all these different
saws, horns, percussion, just all sorts of things going on.
So I'll read the blurb. Southern neo-hippie loves Anne Frank. Crazy, yammering poetic genius Jeff Mangum made a Dolly-influenced freak rock album with banjo, ukulele pipes, and flugelhorn based on his dreams about a Jewish family in World War II. Then he vanished, leaving worshippers like Arcade Fire in his wake.
Yep, that tracks.
The final 2 albums today tie together with this in different ways. Because number 31 is a very lo-fi album, and it's Guided by Voices' breakthrough album B1000.
Yes.
24 Matador. I'm a big Guided by Voices fan, particularly this album and Alien Lanes. I'm a fan of short songs, and he does that. He does it very well. Robert Pollard writes really a bit of this era from idea to idea. Like an idea runs its course and the song ends, and you move on to the next song.
Yes.
I've heard comparisons of it with the second half of Abbey Road, speaking of the Beatles again, sort of the like a medley between songs. The lyrics are, I'm interested by the lyrics. I think this was mentioned, but yeah, I saw them when there was like the original lineup reunited. So I saw them in 2012 in Orlando. I driven with college friends. So we drove from Sarasota to Orlando. It's not a short drive.
Yeah.
It's like 2 hours, I think, right? Something like that. That was the show where we got splashed by the most beer I've ever been splashed on in my entire life.
That's like, the one. Yeah.
Yeah. I never had that happen. I mean, maybe it's just there's better crowds in North Carolina, or it was just like 30 or 40 somethings reenacting the younger days. I don't know what it was, but it was really gross. Yeah, this was their 7th album. Thinking over this last time of how many bands have their best record that many in. So I was thinking about this band. I was thinking of the Flaming Lips, which I think their like 8th or 9th album was their best. I was trying to think of like which bands that happened.
It's interesting to think about.
Yeah.
A band that has a lot of albums, and then you got to think.
Yeah, because there's some bands that take a while for them to get completely together, or to like move from like more noisy experimentation to more direct, better songs.
I think
I
now.
mean, thinking like Sonic Youth, their best one's like their fifth or sixth one, probably.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's
Um,
later than you. Oh, there's got to be. I think there's some other ones, but I'm not.
because I think Flame was like maybe their eighth album. Something to think about. Yeah, there's a lot of drinking going around with Guy with Voices. Yeah, they. I mean, I think even reminding like even at the show I saw there was a thing of tequila. It's like
Why?
drinking dirt. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. Just like I don't know if it's. I'm not gonna know if it's
It's
like
not a party
alcoholism or.
band.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. It's what I will say is to I think a negative towards is there's actually a Sleater Kinney song that apparently references Guided by Voices or at least Robert Pollard. No, Rock and Roll Fun. Rock and Roll Fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently they were kind of like sexist towards them. So I don't know the full story. I just know whatever based on like the lyrics and something that mentioned about it. Not cool.
Okay. Huh.
I do enjoy lo-fi. I do like the use of like the production choosing or having to choose to like use cheaper methods and like there's a sound that comes from it that like really works for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'll read the blurb. The crown prince of the lo-fi scene, Robert Pollard fantasized that he was a rock star, and it came true, sort of. GBV were barely known outside their bud-soaked Dayton, Ohio basements when they patched together their seventh album from 20 home-recorded fragments, launched from an unstoppable song machine. Before long, they were indie heroes. There's so many Guy Voices albums. They're up there with The Fall as far as an absurd amount of albums. Is there anything else you want to say about Guy Voices before we move on?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But yeah, for our final album for this episode is number 30, Wilco, with their album Yankee Hotel Foxtrot from 2002. Whenever I see the title, I have to do it in like the Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
Lots of pausing.
In preparation for today, I watched the documentary about the making of the album and then the story of issues following it. The documentary, I Am Trying to Break Your Heart, named after the opening track. I'm definitely a Wilco fan, and particularly of this album and the previous album, Summer Teeth.
Okay. I just learned something. I don't know much about them, so of course I'm just like Wikipedia. I didn't realize they were some of the members of Uncle Tupelo.
Yeah, no, it was formed out of the breakup of Uncle Tupelo.
I didn't realize that.
Jafer formed up Sun Volt following that. I actually knew someone who had strong opinions about both that breakup and also the exit of the secondary songwriter in Wilco, Jay Bennett. That like opinions about how it went, criticisms about Jeff Tweedy and how it's been so long since I've had that conversation with him. So kind of there was that you can see it in the documentary, and the documentary includes him actually leaving the band.
Whoa, really?
Jay Bennett leaving the band. Yeah, I mean, because you can see there's some between while they're mixing the album. There was this argument about the drums in the beginning of Heavy Metal Drummer. It's like really so in the weeds.
Whoa, I love that.
So like it's such a stupid argument. Like, okay, like what if we have to like move this around, or like does this sound like sound like something off, or do we need then change other tracks or how they open, and it's just getting into it with each other, not necessarily yelling, but sort of just kind of like arguing of like you're not getting what I'm saying, like or not feeling heated. So I mean, one of the things about the album is the story about it is that the label did not accept it. They dropped them. But they received the album because they had given them the leeway to like actually, as far as producing it themselves and preparing it themselves, their touring loft. But then when they received the album, they were like, we're not releasing this. You have to do like this or that change. Like, no, we're done. Like we've gone through the thing of this is the album. And also like the label head that had been supportive of the band, the Reprise label had retired, and the new head dropped Wilco. They were able to keep the album. They got released from their contract getting to keep the album. And so they were able to start a bidding war basically over releasing it. And the album leaked, so fans were hearing it too. and fans
Yes.
were getting into it. And the funny thing is that they ended up signing with None Such, which is also under the same corporate umbrella, or was.
Oh,
So Warner Brothers paid them, and then they went away, and then they paid them like 3 times as much to release their album.
right.
It's pretty funny that that happened, but I mean, none of this would be if the album wasn't so good. Because Wilco started as alt country out of Uncle Tupelo. There's some folk in there, but I don't know how much country necessarily is left by this point. So one thing, they would create the straightforward version of the song first, then they deconstruct it and then put it back together, trying to find a way to make it more interesting. There's a lot of noise influence on the album, with some of it the low part of the mix,
Yeah.
as well as parts where it's more direct or noise sections within it.
Right.
Lyrically, it's amazing. There was some sort of prophetic lyrics because
Really?
they wrote it before 9/11. They're actually tall buildings shake, voices escape singing sad, sad songs, and then war on war. Jeff Tweedy, great songwriter, and then like the band are also really talented.
Mm.
And they're a band that's still together. I mean, they're touring. I saw them in another band I saw in 2012. I saw them in St. Augustine actually, at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. It was really cool. It was a cool show. I mean, it's one of my first shows, basically. One of the first ones I went to like on my own. I'll read the blurb. This is Americana on drugs. At the time, Wilco's cracked masterpiece was obscured by a label drama backstory. Unburdened by history, its pleasures are clearer. Jeff Tweedy's warm, meandering melodies and a chilly sense of despair that hangs over the album like a Vicodin haze. I hold this as their best album.
So you agree with this being their best one?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I like this group of
yeah,
this cluster of bands that we talked about.
yeah,
We're getting into the top 30 now.
yeah. We're starting in the top 30. Yeah. Until next time,
So come back next week, everybody.
bye. You can reach us at Yearendlesspodcast at gmail.com. All music is courtesy of Shane Parrish. Until next time, for my co host Courtney, I'm William, signing off from the Tar Heel State.